So today we're going to look a little bit deeper into the process of going about getting yourself a side hustle. And we're going to look a little bit inside the framework of Simon Sinek. He's one of our favorite authors in Start With Why. He's got great TED Talks, but he has this theory called the golden circle. And inside, if you imagine a bullseye, inside is the why. And then the next circle going outward is the how, and the last circle out is the what. And he says the fault of most people is that they start with the outside. They start with the what, and then they say the how, and then, oh yeah, this is why. Whereas he's saying you start with that why on the inside, that his work with the most successful people in the world, leaders of giant companies, of just really happy people in general, start with that why, and they build out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think starting with why is such a good anchor point. It creates such a solid foundation because inevitably, when you get into a new venture, a new side hustle, even a new project at work, inevitably you're going to run up against obstacles and roadblocks. And if you don't have that strong why to anchor you in, it's like a tree. If a tree didn't have strong roots in the ground and the wind swayed, the tree would fall over. So the why is your root into the ground to make sure that you know why you're doing this. So when whatever wind comes, whatever storm comes, you can hold true to that. So I love that we're following that framework today. Why, how, what?
Yeah, and I'll give you a really great example. I'm actually part of this wonderful coaching program to be able to learn the craft of YouTubing. I'm growing the Good Egg Investments YouTube channel. It's super fun. I love doing it. I love speaking. I love creating, getting to do a little bit of all these new things. But to be a part of a program, this is a big tip in creating your side hustle. Maybe think about joining a coaching program, joining a mentorship program to kind of fast track it. But there's an individual in this program who's he's getting close to retirement age. He started a YouTube channel about a year ago because he saw the signs that his industry was soon probably going to be replaced. His job was likely going to be replaced by new technologies, whether that's AI or automations or anything. And at his age, he just saw the writing on the wall of how difficult it might be to find another job in that same industry. And so he started a YouTube channel. And just the other day in our Slack channel for this program, he expressed deep gratitude because he did in fact get laid off. He had probably a why, like, I want to do this because it's bringing me meaning and it's also going to serve very vital purpose in my life. So a great example. It can happen to anybody.
It makes such a big difference when you have to do something versus when you choose to do something. Because, none of us wants to be faced with that decision of having to create this side hustle when you have to do it. So do it now when you're playing, when the stakes are low, when you don't necessarily need that extra stream of income. But here's what it does is, let's take the YouTube example or AI, either one, where maybe that's not core to your work at your job. So you might not have a project or an occasion to come across and create videos. Even if you asked, it might take some time to get you assigned to the right department and to be able to do a project like that. But maybe you have this internal itch to try something or to get to know AI or YouTube or podcasting or anything else like that. And you're like, I have this idea and I just want to try it. And maybe the purpose isn't money at the beginning. Maybe it's more just you want to try something, you want to learn it, you want to see if you can do something with it. I mean, this reminds me of Mark Rober. He's one of the premier YouTubers. He creates all these science
one of my
videos
favorites, especially as a parent.
So
my
fun.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So fun.
But talk about a great example of this, right? Like he started creating these videos back when he was working at NASA and then Apple, and he was just doing this on the side just for fun. He started out creating videos about how to create these fun Halloween costumes, and he didn't think anything of it. But his videos, some of them went viral, and then he got interviewed on some, Good Morning so and so. I don't know which one, but he got some press around it, right? And then it told him, maybe I should keep doing this. But he wasn't making any money around it. But look at him now. He's got a huge YouTube presence and his own company, which is a spinoff of that. So lots of things can come from it. If you just follow that passion, as we talked about in our last episode, follow that passion and just play, just try something. Let's say that you're at a point where you're like, okay, I'm committed. I want to find a side hustle. I don't yet know what it is, but I know I have my why. I've grounded in my why. And now I want to get started. So where do I start? So what would you say, Susan? What are some of the things that you might do to get started with a side hustle?
Yeah, well, again, you started with your why already. You've written out why you want this. You've written out some of your goals, your long-term goals with this. Is it to monetize? Is it to get a certain amount of money in a certain number of years? I would say the next thing is kind of do an audit of the things that you love to do, the things you are already passionate about, because there are things that you're doing that other people need and want, and you do just naturally likely. So kind of take a big audit of just things you love to do and make a big list.
Mm-hmm. And I would say, if you get stuck, I always go back to, what did you want to be when you were a little kid? And because as you grow, there's all these society pressures and demands and what your parents wanted you to become and all that stuff. But think back to the core of, in those days of innocence, before you had all those pressures and burdens, what did you want to be? And there's maybe it's not that thing exactly, but there's some elements of that are still within you that are